Okay. Am I still here? Am I still?
Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the
Hola.
Proud Mary podcast. I am one of your hosts, Miss Mo, aka Let's Be Honest, and this is,
92 say.
and
Hello,
we
everybody.
we are the Proud Mary podcast, where we are known to give it to you nice when we can, yet rough when we must. So, of course, we are here. Before we get started, we're gonna do a little bit of housekeeping first, and I want to ask you, if you are not already subscribed, to please hit the subscribe button and a notification bell. And then make sure that you thumbs up if you like the video, if you like the live, or thumbs down. Just please engage as we are here on this live. But those three things you can do right now. Just go ahead and be nice to a sister. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and go ahead and give your girls a thumbs up. And so today we have a great show for you. If you saw our thumbnail and our title today, we are going to be delving in on all of the information, latest news, trending topics, all the goings on that's going on, and even some of the things that you may not know about. Because as you know, my co-host is the researcher,
You're
deep
buffering,
diver.
Mo. I don't know if that's you.
My co-host is the let me see, the researcher, the deep diver, the all yeah, that gotta be her. The queen of finding the information. So she has dug up a lot of additional stuff for you guys today. I can't wait for her to share it with you. And then, of course, as you know, we always end the show with our Stags I Just Can't moment. And then Mo's Money Minute. You know, we try to give you information, give you things. Now, Stag be needing a rant because people be getting on her nerves. All this politics, the way people function, and all this shit don't be just her nerves. They get on my nerves too. But can't nobody deliver like Stag on an I Just Can't moment. So, and then me, you know, as a money coach and financial coach, accountant, and all those things, I want to always do something that I love, and that's going to give the most money minute at the end of the show. But with no further ado, it is time for Let's Talk Politics. All right, Stag, what do you got for the people today?
Well, so today we have the people in New York are having buyer's remorse. Mr. Mamdani is finding out, and so are they, that free costs. You can't run a city with no money. And he is upset because basically, because the New York City is the most profitable city in the state, right? So they need the funds from them, right? And they're like, why you gotta take the money from us? Well, ain't that what y'all like with y'all socialism? Tax the wealthy, and the wealthy supposed to pay for everything. Y'all got more money, supposed to give it to them, okay? Also, the streets are piled up with snow after the winter storm and trash. And with the trash comes the rats. The New Yorkers are getting their dream city. Everything that they dreamed of. They're living a
Everything.
dream. Also, Mr. Mandami, there's been a police shooting in New York, and his solution is to not send in police officers but social workers to those events. So, yeah, New York is living a dream. Congratulations.
Let's see here. Hold on. This may okay. Let's see. We're gonna pull up a little bit and share because I know well, first of all, I didn't know about it, so I'm sure our people may not have known about it. So let's just see what we have here and what old man Dami is doing for the people. Tell me if you can hear Stag when I get to playing.
Okay.
Our current response system
Yeah.
is not one that is setting our city up for success. It is one that deeply needs to be changed.
Mayor Mamdani is responding to criticism over how the city deals with calls tied to mental health issues.
I see the officers, I see the incarcerated people, and my job is to lift that up.
Our Courtney Gross sat down for an exclusive one-on-one with the city's new correction commissioner, Stanley Richards. I'll talk more about Mayor Mamdani's pick to lead the correction department when I'm joined by the president of the union representing correction officers, Benny Vascio. And we'll bring...
Let's see. Let's get to what your boy said. Where you at? You said he wants to do... Okay, now we're going to search a little more.
50 clients.
Because this ain't... He want to do it... Okay, you go ahead and explain what he want to do, and then
It should, let me tell you something. It's going to be a lot of shot, stabbed, and beat up social workers in the city of New York. So it all starts from a violent encounter that a police officer had with a man who they say had schizophrenia. He attacked the officer with a knife. There is a video that went along with it. Mo, you could see how. And the officer backed up. He drew his weapon, told the guy to stop. He had a big old butcher knife. And the officer even went outside the door, and the guy was trying to come through the door, and the officer was trying to hold his door closed. And when the guy came through the door, he shot him. Mm-hmm. So Mandami's response to that is, hey, police officers don't need to show up. He ain't told them how he plans to, do this. But, yeah, that's his plan. So if you're a social worker in New York,
you're going to be rolling up on, you go, oh, okay, this might be it right here. I think I might have it, sister.
22-year-old man.
Hold on. We might be ready. Everybody, as you come in, please do us a favor. Share out the live. Make sure you hit the notification bell and give us a thumbs up. And if don't hesitate to give your comments, we want to hear them. We like to engage with you.
No. You know where? I'm sorry, Mo. You know what it is? It's the Black conservative perspective. It should be his video. That's where the timestamp is. I'm sorry.
For this?
I'm sorry.
For this?
No, for the Mandami thing, because it'll go into them explaining and what happened. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm gonna take this off the screen. You keep talking, and I will get it on up here.
Like I said, if you are a social worker in New York, get ready to be put on the front lines of mental health and violent situations because of that. And also another problem that they have, and they're saying after the winter storm, because remember Mandani said that he wasn't going to forcibly remove homeless people from the streets. So now the bodies are piling up of people who froze to death on the streets. That's crazy.
That is correct.
So New York is having. That is January. That's 1 month down in the year, and we got dead homeless people, snow and trash up to way higher than your eyeballs with rats. And social workers now going to be on the front lines of mental health, violent mental health calls. So good job in New York. That is the first month down. I can't wait to see what February brings us.
Okay, we got our manager here. I ain't see. Hold on, manager. I ain't realized you was here. I got to make sure. The manager said, "What's going on stage?" Hey, Jabo. Okay, what's the timestamp you have on this one?
2:45.
2:45. All right. Let's see. I like to go back a couple seconds. All right. Let's see. Let's get it on the screen. Everybody, welcome in. Welcome to the Proud Mary podcast with Let's Be Honest and Stag. If you are just coming in and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. If you are a subscriber, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and give us a little comment today. Send a little so we can shout you out live. All right, let's go.
Now, I'm going to let you guys decide how it would have worked out had somebody who was not armed and not a police officer went out there to deal with this type of situation. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Body camera footage of a shooting by officers responding to a call in Queens. Mayor Zohran Mamdani has been calling for new ways to handle these calls of people suffering from mental health episodes. Eyewitness News reporter Phil Tate is live for us at police headquarters in Lower Manhattan with more on this story. Phil.
Yeah, Pedro Shirley, good morning. And yesterday, the NYPD had released that body cam video giving us a better insight as to what happened last week. Police had called for help for their 22-year-old son who was in emotional distress, but somehow this ended up with a police-involved shooting happening inside of their home. Let's pop up that video for you. You can see the body-worn camera video on your screen as officers arrived at the police home. Shortly after, it appeared the 22-year-old Jabez Charkaborty with a knife as a family member tries to stop him from moving towards the officer who is heard there, firing his gun after giving multiple commands to drop the weapon.
The family in a statement says we called 911 for an ambulance to provide medical attention for our son who was in emotional distress. We did not call the police. Instead of medical responders, the NYPD arrived and shot our son multiple times right in front of us. Yesterday, Mayor Mamdani said he visited Jabez, who has lived with schizophrenia for many years. The mayor also questioning the protocols that led up to the shooting, and this will likely speed up the mayor's launch of his Department of Community Safety, which would send social workers to the scene of a mental health crisis rather than police officers.
Chavez has lived with schizophrenia for many years, and this situation underscores just how urgently we need a different and more effective mental health response system that will be safer for New Yorkers who struggle with mental health concerns, for their families, and for police officers. Chavez needs mental health treatment, not criminal prosecution.
Now, the mayor says that there are internal ongoing...
Do you want me to keep going?
What do you think about that, social workers in a situation like that?
Well, I think it's absolutely crazy. The reason, because I get him, right? I get what he's saying. He's thinking, oh, they're in an emotional mental crisis. A social worker would possibly be able to reach them, but not understanding if they're in an emotional mental crisis, they are emotional and mental, and they're not thinking right in order to actually react to what the social worker is going to say, unless they feel like the social worker is going to have a special whistle or something that's going to make the person not be in a crisis. I'm not sure. Now, I know I have a cousin who's a retired officer in Kansas City, and she said that they have where they show up, the social worker or something like that shows up with the police too. So they want, and they'll have it where both of them are there so that, you know, depending on what's needed, all people are safe, you know. So I think that's very crazy, especially if you're going to get rid of police. It's gonna be a whole lot of dead.
There is also a shortage of police in the city too. So,
and why is that?
But I guess maybe people don't want to work in New York City. I mean,
no, you didn't know, like when and I have, you know, I have a friend, actually a couple friends that are New York police officers, and actually when he was elected, many of them left, like hundreds of them left.
I remember.
And so it's very interesting to me that people would want in charge the people who protect you, the people who actually control the government and how you eat and that they don't want. Like, to me, people are wanting us to live in the Hunger Games.
Yeah. And their policies are turning it into that because, and I'm glad that he's in there now, so we get a full year to see what these socialist policies
Mm-hmm.
do, and hopefully it will wake some people up for the 2026 election. But yeah, get ready, social workers.
What you say?
Well, work is about to get really interesting.
Really, and what?
And
Yeah,
you know what? I agree with you. If they had them to show up with, just but then again, how do you know if a situation is going to turn into something
yeah.
violent? And how do you know if because otherwise then you're paying that's more money that you're paying to have social workers just tagging along with police. You know, that's that's got to be worked out. How does that work? Also, another thing that's going on in there, those free bus rides. Now he's hiring people to go on the bus and check people to make sure that they paid their fare. So that's more money being paid because he
Mm-hmm.
said the people who skip out on the bus fare cost the city $900 million a year. So now they're gonna have to, you know, call have pay people to check people's stuff.
I don't know if you saw. You had a comment. We have a comment from one of your favorite people. He wanted to
I know it's
alert.
probably Beyonce Nina.
Yeah, he wanted to alert
Yeah.
you and I guess, like we don't know, that Tom Homan took, they're deciding to have 700 of the ICE agents out of Minnesota. Now,
Yeah,
I
I saw
already
that.
know that, and I also know why he said he feels comfortable with it now because they also listed all of the arrests and people that they have removed from Minnesota in this time that they were there. So I'm not sure if everyone is leaving. I didn't get that idea, but they are removing 700. So good job. I guess of course, those old shady governor and mayor that they have over there in Minnesota are framing the situation differently than how Tom Homan. They doing like how you used to be like when the bully around, you be like this, and then when he leave, that's why
Right.
he better leave. I knew he was going. He's scared of me or whatever, but the bully already gone. Now you wanna
Right.
show out. Yeah, please. Thanks for sharing
Hmm.
that with us, Deontay. But we already know, and already. All right, next
Yeah.
next story you want us to go on to, Stan?
So we have um do you have the anything for the bio lab?
Yeah,
Do you
that's
have the
what you.
video for the bio lab?
Yes, I do. I just gotta get
That
to
there
it.
was a press conference. I sent you the press conference, right?
Yeah.
The okay. And I would like to also uh keep people at the forefront of your mind that now on uh social media and everywhere they talking about this coffin. I can't see when you share, but thanks. Um, the shoot, you made me lose my train of thought. Um, what was I saying, Mo?
Uh, you were talking about the a coffin.
Oh, yeah, that
Thank
keep
you,
in the forefront of
Kathleen.
your mind that on social media you see people talking about how they coming down with this mysterious thing and they don't know what it is and they feel like they got the flu. And then today they said that Mitch McConnell he got the flu and they gonna try and I'm thinking they gonna try, COVID 2.0 for midterms. And now they
Well,
just giving these
it
narratives.
literally happens. Stuff shows up around September, October every time. I mean,
But now but it got to be something that make us need the mail-in ballots and all that
yeah,
other crazy stuff. So
yeah,
I feel like they building a narrative. I really do. I feel like they building a narrative.
yeah. Well, you already know. Well,
So
here we go at the potential. What could be something? Hold on. Let me. I'm a new producer. All right, let's go.
Good afternoon. I'm Sheriff Kevin McMahill with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. With me today is the Special Agent in charge of the Las Vegas FBI Field Office, Christopher Delzato, and the Clark County Fire Chief, Billy Samuels. You'll hear from all three of us. I want to provide a more detailed update and walk you through how this investigation unfolded. Just a little over a week ago, LVMPD received limited information indicating that laboratory equipment and potentially hazardous materials were being stored at a residence in the northeast part of our town. As our investigation progressed, we determined that the home was owned by the same individual connected to a prior illegal biolab investigation in Reedley, California that occurred in 2023. The nature of that earlier investigation raised significant concern for what we might encounter in this new case. In Reedley, investigators reportedly discovered an illegal biolab containing materials possibly associated with a range of infectious diseases, including hepatitis, COVID, HIV, malaria, and other potentially dangerous pathogens. While it is unknown whether similar materials were present here at the Las Vegas residence, the possibility required us to proceed with extreme caution. Because of these concerns, LVMPD's counterterrorism section and our Armor Task Force, in partnership with the FBI, immediately initiated a joint investigation and began developing detailed operational plans to address this potential threat. Out of an abundance of caution, extensive preparations were made, resources were mobilized from across Clark County, the city of Las Vegas, as well as our other state and federal partners, to include some from outside of our region.
All right. Now, hold on. Okay. Okay, so
narrative building. Narrative building.
Yes.
They got COVID.
All the things.
It's some Ebola too in there. Did you see Ebola in there? They on another thing, yeah, Ebola. COVID though for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all get ready for
I was gonna say, y'all get ready.
They about to be pumping this stuff out.
And the thing is how's this person connected to something else? And obviously something else like that, right? And then why they free?
They saying that he don't have any, he's not a biologist or anything. So they just found this stuff in somebody random house in a freezer. And when they was going through, did you see the video of the freezer that they was looking through? That looked like food in there. That didn't look like pathogens.
Don't pathogens. Well, let's see. Okay, here we go. I'm going go to what it looked like. Go ahead.
Because they started showing videos of them in the house.
We're gonna let y'all see a little bit from there. Now y'all know they keeping all the stuff now. Instead of going to the Wu and the Han, it's gonna be right in Vegas.
Investigators observed multiple refrigerators, a freezer, and other laboratory type equipment, along with numerous bottles and jugs containing unknown liquid substances. These items, importantly, were consistent in appearance to the items found and described in the Reedley, California lab investigation. After initial assessments were completed, the Armor team escorted FBI scientists and specialized evidence collection team into the garage. Investigators observed one refrigerator that was still opening and wrapped in the household plastic wrap, along with the freezer that was plugged in and running. You'll see some of that in that video. When the refrigerator and freezer were opened, our investigators identified a significant volume of material, including various vials and storage containers with liquids of different colors and compositions. Additional containers were located throughout the garage, along with laboratory equipment and other specialized items.
Now, who is the person? Did they find out whose house it is or who it belonged to? Hold on.
Have a person, because they said that he's not a biologist or anything. So where did he get it?
Tell me.
So that if y'all want to see the full press conference, it's on YouTube. That was today that they posted that up. So that's that. And then we have more fraud found.
Oh my God. It's
And I
like,
believe this was Massachusetts. Oh my God. The fraud is just so sick.
let's see. Right. I'm thinking, hold on. Oh my goodness. I am just really flabbergasted. That's the word I'm going to use. By the fact that I swear we are constantly told every day that there really isn't any fraud in voting. And that
Mm.
there is no way
No, I'm
that.
talking about wait, not the voting. I'm talking about
Oh, some old fraud. Oh, okay. Oh,
the
some regular. Well, that's a shame. We're gonna say some regular.
yeah, that one
Some
there.
regular fraud. Hold
I was
on. Here
gonna
we
say
go.
that was the last.
Here we go. Here we go.
That was
Well,
the other press conference that I sent you.
okay. Here we
The
go.
yeah,
Hold on.
they made an arrest. Hmm.
Good morning. I'm here this morning to announce charges against 4 individuals for allegedly stealing the identities of more than 100 victims and using those identities to score more than $1 million in free government benefits that they themselves were not qualified for. These defendants used stolen identities from victims across the country in New York, Florida, Connecticut, Kentucky, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and here in Massachusetts. They also used the stolen identities of 6 juveniles to secure SNAP EBT benefits in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, spending tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars to purchase inventory for a restaurant in Massachusetts owned by the lead defendant, Raul Fernandez Vicioso, a naturalized citizen from the Dominican Republic. Fernandez Vicioso and his co-defendants, 2 of whom do not have legal immigration status and 1 is a green card holder, used the stolen EBT cards to purchase large quantities of expensive bulk food items, such as multiple pound packages of chicken, beef, and pork at various local wholesalers and food markets.
Gotta make sure you
stock
get the
their
pork in.
restaurant at no expense to themselves, but at considerable expense to taxpayers. As a result, they sold menu items at the restaurant at a complete profit, later wiring the fraud proceeds to individuals living in Venezuela and the Dominican Republic, among other places. The state of Rhode Island picked up on the fraud in June of 2024, when they identified SNAP EBT applications for 117 people, all of whom purported to be living in just 2 apartments in Providence. Rhode Island also discovered that many of the victims' identities also received SNAP benefits here in Massachusetts, based on information through data shared among the states. In June 2024, Rhode Island contacted the Massachusetts Department of Transition Assistance, DTA, to request additional information. Massachusetts DTA identified more than $115,000 in fraudulent SNAP benefits administered to the stolen identities.
Okay. Okay. Now I said, people, I was on the wrong kind of fraud, but my comment still applies, because I can recall when our president got in. Can you guys who are in listening, can y'all tell me if you all hear echo? Let me know if y'all hear echo. But they said there wasn't none of that. That ain't true. And where to arrest that? Where to arrest that if it's really true? And then it's just amazing to me how more and more stuff is coming out.
Crazy, huh? and big, large scale fraud. And this is the thing that I thought of when I saw that, right? We have been a welcoming and generous country because he was or one of them was a green card holder.
One
And
was
there's a lot of
naturalized,
people,
one was a green card holder, and two were not even, they was illegals.
right? And we're a very generous country, and we've let these people come in and afforded them this, care. And this is the repayment that we get, is that they steal from us. Because I bet you that food in that restaurant was high as a giraffe's
Yeah,
ass, okay?
they getting everything for free.
And they were getting nothing but profit because they weren't paying for any of the food. And I'll bet you they weren't feeding the community, weren't, you know what I'm saying? It's just like this is crazy to me. And then you have other Americans fighting with us
Fighting
because
with
we
us.
say these people need to go.
Literally fighting with us. We need to have more humanity. We gonna be humanity and be broke. Be broke, laid out on the
Yeah.
street, froze like them people in New York. Keep playing.
Because you think about the if we didn't have all of these extra people here and all of this fraud across the country, and we talking about, when it's all said and done, we probably talking about trillions of dollars in fraud. How much better the systems could be and work for people who actually needed the help. And because it would be more resources, people could get off of those services quicker, so we would have more of a rotation of people who would be able to use these safety nets and, get off of them. And oh my gosh, this is disgusting. The unemployment fraud, COVID fund fraud, SNAP. I mean, SNAP must have been.
The fraud on the fraud.
And you know what else I thought of too? You Americans who are on these services should be really pissed. Even you little American scammers, right? Who just, all you doing is telling them just to get you a wig or something. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's gonna be so many systems put in place to stop this and to make sure that the people who are on it need it. They done just messed up y'all scams.
Yep.
They done messed up y'all stuff.
And then, but sometimes, they can't freeze everybody. Yankee, I know you're still here. Do you hear us clear, or do you hear echo? Because I kind of hear echo. I don't know. It might be me hearing stags. Well.
Is there an echo?
No echo? Y'all hear echo? Let me see.
So she must be watching back from the beginning, because she talking about the rats in New York.
Oh. Okay, no, it's not.
Okay. Let me see. Oh, Nancy Guthrie. That is the last one, and then we can get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Nancy Guthrie is. I guess I should have found out what this lady name is for the reporter. I forgot. My bad. Maybe that is Nancy Guthrie, but her mama missing. Okay. Somebody done snatched her mama up out of the house. They said it's blood.
Hold on. I'm laughing at the way you said her mama missing. I'm sorry, it's not funny, but it's just the way that you said it. That was funny. It's not funny. I pray Nancy mama come home. I do. Because I don't want nobody losing their mamas. Okay, but go ahead. Tell the story, then I'll play the.
Okay. So somebody done snatched her mama up out her house because they made it clear to say that they didn't carry her over the threshold of the front door. But they took her up out the house. They found blood outside the house and inside the home. Apparently there has been, the camera on the front of the home was missing as well. The TMZ came out yesterday, I want to say. I saw a video where they were saying that whoever it is that snatched this woman sent them a ransom note, and they are demanding some Bitcoin. And today I found out that they've sent those notes to a couple of media outlets. Um, the last that I heard, which was right before we came on, so I haven't been able to dig into it, but I'm gonna really get a chance to dig into the story once we get off, and I'll have more details for y'all the next time. The son-in-law seems to be a prime suspect right now. I don't know
What?
why, but he is. But I'll let y'all know
Well,
next
let's
time.
see.
But go ahead,
Let's
and
see
then
what.
I'll tell you why the
Why
theory that it
why
is.
we care,
Why?
right? I mean, we care.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh, I just keep being mean to Nancy Mama. We care about Nancy
You,
Mama. We
you know
do.
what you mean?
You know, but yeah, why it's important? Well, it's important. Why it's more important? Okay.
Of Tucson, where the desperate search for Nancy Guthrie has now entered its fourth day. According to police, the 84-year-old mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie was taken from her home just north of Tucson sometime between 9:30 Saturday night and early Sunday morning. Video obtained by News Nation shows the cameras at her home were smashed, and a trail of blood appears to lead out from her front door. Police say they do not have a suspect nor a person of interest in this apparent kidnapping, but are talking with anyone who might have had contact with Nancy Guthrie before her disappearance. There are reports as well of a ransom note demanding Bitcoin in return for her release. The amount reportedly in the millions, but investigators have yet to confirm if that note is in fact authentic or if they are taking that request seriously. News Nation's Nancy Liu is live outside Nancy Guthrie's home. Nancy, what are we learning at this hour?
Well, Nicole, with no major suspects named and no major developments in this case, the mystery has only deepened, especially with multiple claims of ransom notes received by news organizations. Those have been forwarded to law enforcement. But here at Nancy Guthrie's home, News Nation did find a trail of blood droplets near the front door and what appears to be a missing doorbell camera with just a bracket on the right side of the door frame. But Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos, he's refused to address any blood evidence in this investigation. And he says detectives are still trying to obtain video footage from cameras inside the home, possibly in cloud storage. As for data from Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker, which reportedly stopped transmitting data at around 2 a.m. on Saturday, the sheriff won't confirm a time window of the abduction, fearing it would discourage additional tips from before or after. Now, according to the sheriff, the department is still waiting on test results from other evidence, including DNA samples and fingerprints.
That lab will report back to us what they find. So far, that what we found from that lab is nothing that would tell us this is who did this.
All right. So, okay, so Nancy is missing. It's Savannah Guthrie is the newscaster. Okay. All right. Now why is this additionally important?
So the theory is that she was targeted because Samantha, was that her name? Samantha Guthrie was one of the Savannah Guthrie, my bad. She did and initially did interviews with the Epstein victims. And when Virginia Giuffre was still living, because she was one of the victims who was on the show. So the theory is that though they aired this interview, that there may be things that she may know that wasn't aired, or questions that weren't, shown on there, or maybe some things that might have been shared with her off camera.
Right.
And that this may be like keep quiet or whatever kind of thing. But that's the theory as to why she was targeted. But like I said, they said now the last thing I saw was that the son-in-law is the suspect. I don't know how that'll pan out. I think that they're towing his car. So, like I said, I'll have update for you. And if Nancy Grace is on the case, I'm in. I'm watching. I gotta see,
what's going on
with that big hair. And
Yonky made a comment, same thing. I'm thinking. She said, "Well, damn, her pacemaker isn't on. She might not be with us in this world." That's what I want. I'm like, how
that's
your
what I thought.
pacemaker
Hmm.
stop reporting unless you didn't stop having to help something pump. I mean, I would hate for that to
Yeah,
be the
that's what I
case.
thought as soon as they said that. That as soon as they said her pacemaker size, I was like, oh, then I
Right,
mean, a heart stop.
right. That's sad.
So
But definitely praying for the lady, Miss Nancy.
mhm. Let's just maybe her battery died. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. That's what we gonna pray for. That's what we gonna pray for. So now,
Because they do have a battery on it. So, okay. Now to the good thing.
It goes in here because this is legal. Let's talk along. Stag favorite. This gonna be Stag ready to get in on it, y'all. Which one? Where you want me to start? You go ahead and talk, and then you tell me where you want me to get in at. Where you want me to start at?
Okay, so we can go with the we can go with the Robert Gervais video, the timestamps that I well, my timestamps weren't any good. But
Well, they actually were because I still had it. So
okay,
you're good. Yeah.
okay,
Go ahead.
okay.
But you
So
go ahead and give
me
them
and
me.
Mo were talking. We were
Okay.
talking earlier, right? And I've been digging all around trying to gather up with the stuff that I knew from that time and where information was. And we have decided that we are going to weekly keep you guys updated on the Fulton County case, Georgia, and also the other states that are involved, because I have a feeling that this is going to be a domino effect that's going to translate into the other swing states, because we all know that there were shenanigans there. I also have some of then um, if we do this like a weekly thing, then I can focus on each state because, but right now we on Fulton County.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so uh, I I had from 2023 or 24. If you all go to, let me pull this up, voter GA, one word, .org, you will find tons and tons of evidence on the 2020 election in Fulton County. So I'm just going to give you a snippet. On the front page, it says they had 6 sworn affidavits of many Fulton counterfeit ballots. 17,724 more Fulton certified votes than ballot images required to tabulate votes. Dropbox video surveillance representing 181,507 ballots destroyed in 102 counties. Improper chain of custody forms for 107,000 ballots
Oh my goodness.
statewide. An estimated chain of custody forms missing for 355,000 ballots statewide. 86,860 voters in 2020 have false registration date prior to 2017, not on 2017 history file. And over 1.7 million original ballot images are lost or destroyed in 70 counties, despite state and federal law. And there's even more on here, and we can go through some, but this is a quick, sum up of some things that I think is really important that is coming out. I don't know if you guys, there's also on here Tina Peters, she has a chronological timeline of what happened with her going into Coffee County. There's a timeline on there. So you can go on there. But again, that is voter GA, one word, because I discovered the Democrats are slick. They put one almost very, very similar to this one. And it's all leftist debunking their lying stuff. So voter GA, one word, .org. Okay, go ahead. And there's another source that I found as well
I grabbed
called.
this.
Mhm.
Hey, uh, look, hey, girl meets Bible. This I found because of the timestamps being off. That you want to show what you saw in this because I think these people are talking
This
about
one,
it.
what I wanted to show was a little before this,
A little before. Okay, because
and then
I
it's something after that.
is it him talking or is it people a person talking?
No, it's well, I'll just tell you what it was on it because he's just reading this other
What this
document that
right here?
has. No, go further. Go to the lady in the pink. Because this
Oh,
was a
I got
hearing
her.
that they had in Georgia, because there was a slew of hearings with the election board and with the Georgia Assembly. I would encourage people to go and watch those. There were also hearings in Arizona and in Pennsylvania and in Michigan. And also in Arizona, Carrie Lake had a lawsuit that she had filed, and a lot came out in that. And you can watch that on YouTube. The court, you can sit there and watch them go through the court case yourself, and you can make the determination of
Not
what you
at
believe.
all.
But
He says the drug.
I'm sorry. It was freezing.
but
So.
in Arizona, in that court case, it wasn't a hearing; it was a court. Tabulators at 20% of the polling sites were not working. This is in Arizona. 1 out of 5 ballots were not going through. So they were put in a drop box and counted later. And that number of ballots was 17,000 ballots, and 17,000 was the gap between Kerry Lake and Katie Hobbs in Arizona for the governor. Um, yeah. Also, there were 20-inch ballots. There's supposed to be 20-inch ballots, but they had a 19-inch ballot image. So it was kicking out those ballots. And I remember I watched that when it happened. They said that the only way that that could happen was that it had to be changed manually in the machine. So it wasn't a mistake. It was changed
It was
manually
intentional.
to kick out the ballots.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you a video a while ago, and this was the Facts Matter from Rome, and I had the timestamps on that too. I forgot. I wrote them down on the back of my left thing. But it goes through the Arizona stuff, but we'll get to Arizona another
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, we'll
Right
get
now,
to
we're gonna
Arizona
focus
another
on
time.
Georgia.
Let's see. Let's see if this is a part of it. The lady in the pink comes right after this. But go ahead. Here we go.
83% of
Okay,
American
go
voters
ahead.
support requiring people to prove their citizenship, provide an ID. The same poll even says Democrats want this. And as you will recall, Mitch, 62% of voters in Kentucky also favor this. So we have to make sure that we have fair elections. Constitution requires that every person here is guaranteed a Republican form of government, not rigged votes. So Mitch, hopefully he gets out of the hospital soon and reads this letter. Bunch of people are on it. Gill, Crane, Clyde, Pfluger, Jackson, Cloud, Alford, Fine, and many more. Corey Mills, Dusty Johnson, Mark Harris, many others on the list. And of course, we want to see action on that immediately. But here's Cleta Mitchell. She was on with Bannon today and said, here's what's going on with Fulton County. We just read a post from her articulating the numbers and explaining just how problematic the math actually is.
I want people to picture in your mind November 4th, the morning of November 4th, the day after the election, the national presidential election. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger from Georgia went on the Today Show and he said the following, that a record 4.7 million ballots had been cast in Georgia. This is the morning of November 4th. President Trump was in the lead by 103,000 votes. And there were only 94,000 ballots left to count. Now remember, the deadline for receipt of absentee ballots in Georgia in 2020 was when the polls closed 7 p.m. on November the 3rd.
It's over.
So that's a known number the next day, right? Except that when they finished counting the ballots 4 days later, suddenly there were 300,000 more ballots than there were when the polls closed
Weird.
on election day. Absentee ballots that came in, and half of those, 148,000 of those, were from Fulton County. Now, let me tell you some things about Fulton County. And all of this is from a 263-page intense report with every document, visual images. You cannot believe the things that are in this report. I'll tell you where to find the full report. But I wanted to go through those 260 some odd pages and pull out the bullet points that everybody needs to just understand. So let's talk about Fulton County absentee ballots. There were 74,000 absentee ballots that had come into Fulton County by the time the polls closed, the legal deadline by the time the polls closed on November the 3rd. But somehow, 4 days later,
just kept counting.
Instead of those 74,000, there were 148,000.
Total scam.
Plus, just a little over 148,000 absentee ballots that were now suddenly in the mix. Now, where did those come from?
Fanny's booty.
Fulton County election officials ordered on October the 16th over 1 million new absentee ballots.
For whom?
They were ordered without envelopes, even though in order to cast an absentee ballot in Georgia, you have to mail it. You have to put it in an envelope. It has to be sealed in an envelope. And we saw in one of our counts in our lawsuit, our election contest, that was never heard by a judge because no judge was appointed. But our volunteers saw all of these pristine ballots, no folds. Those cannot be absentee ballots. But tens of thousands of these ballots were delivered to the State Farm Arena with no chain of custody. Here's the ultimate data point. According to Fulton County and the Secretary of State records, this is post-election, there were 148,319 absentee ballots in Fulton County counted, included in the totals for Georgia. But only 125,784 voters were recorded as having cast an absentee ballot. That is a difference of 25,535 more ballots than voters who are recorded as having registered for and cast an absentee ballot in Fulton County.
Totally.
So that's 25,535 more ballots than voters.
All right.
I just want to say too, I should have sent it to you, but I have a screenshot of, for each county in Georgia, it shows how many people are of age to vote and how many ballots were cast or how many were registered to vote. And in many of the counties throughout the state, because we see that there were issues in different places in the state, probably everywhere
that the people look like
Democrats
you.
win. Yeah, you know what? I was trying not to say that, but
ain't no need to lie.
there were more ballots cast or registered voters than there were people who were legally of age to vote. So anybody who says, and what do we keep hearing from the Democrats is it was the most safest and secure. Well, that don't seem safe and secure, right? And all they kept telling us was it's a big lie. There's no evidence. There's no evidence of widespread fraud. That's what they told. Well, this looked pretty widespread to me.
Yeah.
And you got it in every swing state, and it's just about the same things done in every swing state, right? But I also have another source for people to go to that I stumbled on today. The Heritage Foundation has an election fraud database where they are keeping track of all of the people who are being convicted of fraud in the elections. They have their name, um, what they have their name. I'm trying to picture it in my mind what it is. It's their name, the date, the state, and then it is what they were convicted of, and then it's a brief description of what they did. And it's a whole database, electionfraud.heritage.org. It's an election fraud database. So they're keeping track. electionfraud.heritage.org. So go check that out. Oh my goodness. So what do you think of all that information that you just heard?
I think it's real shady, and it is also proof that now what I like to do, because like I say, I'll be honest, right? I like to, because I listen to the people we talk to. And I like to say, okay, everybody's gonna say, okay, so but you all still trying to say he and win. How y'all know all the votes that this was done to it was messed up, was votes for Trump. And I think what people are missing is that's not even necessarily what we're saying. The fact of the matter is that this stuff exists. And if this exists, and these are just places you're hearing about it at, that means that it can be happening in places you haven't heard. It could be people doing things that were intentional. Now we know he won a lot of the states, okay? But the reality of it is maybe some of the ones he didn't win. And you know, people always stand behind the, oh, it ain't never, that's gonna always be a blue state. You know what I'm saying? Well, no, a lot of states and a lot of places was turning. So it ain't just no definite and for sure. And the fact is our voting should have integrity. We should be able to trust that when we cast a vote, that it is being counted in the way that we expect it to be counted, and we should not be expecting babies and dead people and to have ballots cast. Period. And that's it. So I just feel like I'm glad they finding it. Of course, there's no way you can't turn back the hands of time. But if it is found out that it's just more and more and more come out, with whoever got to go to the clink, they need to go. Unmute yourself.
That's what it's really about. It's not about Trump being fixated on winning, or it's about the integrity of our elections. Because one of the things that separates us from a lot of countries, and one of the most foundations of being a free American and the type of government that we have, the republic that we have, is that we choose our elected leaders. We don't have a monarchy. People don't get to be appointed to their positions. We, the people, choose who we want to represent us. And if that is not happening, then they are violating one of our most fundamental rights as Americans, right? And the whole system. You know, Democrats are always talking about what's a threat to democracy. Well, what they're doing is a threat to democracy. You know, allowing illegals to vote in our elections is a threat to democracy. Not wanting voter ID to secure the election, that's a threat to our democracy, right? So that is what it is truly about. And so that we are, that should be one of the most secure things in our country, is the election, so that we know that the people who are serving in our government were chosen by we the people. And that's it. Because if we're run by fraud in our elections, then we don't have a country. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? If we're not choosing who our people are who are sitting in Congress, what are we doing? So that is the biggest thing that it's about. So I want to know the answers, because I know what I saw in 2020. There were lots of affidavits, and affidavits that were signed is under penalty of perjury. So if you found to be lying when you put that affidavit, you can go to jail for perjury. And a lot of people, the things that she said, there was a lady who testified in Georgia right after 2020 who was an election worker, and she said that there were tons of ballots that didn't have any folds in them that were supposed to be mail-in ballots. How does that happen? How do you get mail-in ballots with no folds? How did they come in an envelope? They had no creases.
Where
She
is
swore
that?
an affidavit to that's what she saw. So,
Well, I think we had one more person in this story that you wanted to.
oh yeah, now we can get to the criminality part. Them people in Fulton County and how they shaking like a leaf and scared out their minds now
Here we go.
Well,
because
COVID, I
justice is
believe, and
covering
then
them.
executed the seizure of these fraudulent documents. But you know how nervous they are. You can see it in this dude's face. He said, arrests are coming. And here's more from the press conference. We'll play it out and see how this ends.
I received another call, actually it was this Monday, same source, saying that you guys can't relax.
No naps.
Even though the FBI has been there and they've confiscated the 700 boxes, arrests are coming. So
yes.
We'll have to wait and see.
Can you talk about the state elections board has investigated and decided not to take over the Fulton County board of elections? Are you worried now that the Trump administration is coordinating with the state elections board using this evidence to actually start?
That's certainly a possibility, and certainly something that I'm concerned about. And I think if they're able to do it here, that's why I say we're the epicenter, and we'll be the test case. If they're successful in Georgia, Fulton County, Georgia in particular, the others on that list of 15 plus states, they should be aware.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You should be aware, Jenna Griswold and AG Chris Mays and Katie Hobbs in Arizona and Dana Nessel in Michigan and the fraudsters in Wisconsin and everywhere else, okay? This is just the tip of the iceberg. We saw what they did to Kerry Lake. We saw that Jenna Griswold changed all of the ballots or all of the machines, updated the BIOS firmware on voting systems days before the election so that none of the testing and validation of those machines could be completed in time. Testing and accuracy, I think it's TNA, and which also has a different meaning. But they changed the systems.
Did you want me to keep playing?
No, we can stop there because they can go and watch that if they like to see it. But also to get into what we used to talk about, which was the cover up, right? People who were put in positions to, in a sense, be gatekeepers to make sure that this never got out, right? Because they've been blocking lawsuits and everything into seeing those ballots. And in that Substack that I sent it to you, another source for you guys is Badlands Media Substack. They did a story highlighting how Governor Kemp halted any investigations into 2020. Everything that was done to do it, because I said before that, because I lived in Georgia then, so I was invested in what was going in Georgia because I voted in Georgia in 2020. That the GBI didn't investigate, the Attorney General didn't investigate, the district attorney didn't investigate. So where are people to get redress with all of this evidence and nobody looked into it? Well, we find out that do you remember Judge McAfee? Judge McAfee, the judge that presided over the RICO case that Fonnie Willis brought, I just found out reading this Badlands Substack that he was also the Inspector General. Brian Kemp had appointed him picked him as an Inspector General to look into the election, and he found nothing. And then he rewarded him by making him a Superior Court judge. Now we know why Fonnie was so comfortable being so rude and unprofessional in the courtroom, because they were all in covering it up. Judge McAfee presided over a case that he essentially investigated. If that's not a conflict of interest, I don't know what is. And then there's somebody else that Brian Kemp rewarded with a judgeship, and it came at the heels of them being questioned about investigation. So then he made them judges, and then that makes them immune from people just, you know, harassing the judges about, stuff. So I would encourage you to go look at that. It is Badlands, Badlands Media Substack. So you'll know the story because it's a big old, Trump's mugshot pictures on it. No, is it his mugshot picture or is that his White House picture? Let me look at it again. I think it is his.
When his face just looked like this.
I think that's his mugshot picture.
Yeah, that's his mugshot. When he just like. His little swoop over to the side. I was like, at least his hair was looking nice.
Looking directly at the camera.
Like, I ain't scared.
I love our president. So, what do you think of that? What do you think of that?
I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. I don't know if you heard this when he was talking, right? But he was trying to make it seem like it is something that's just being done because that the administration has something to do, has a problem with them. And that's the part I didn't like, because he wasn't addressing what was being found, what could be found, what was done, any of that. He just is trying to, as far as I'm concerned, put the narrative out there. If they find something, it's just because, they got a problem with us. And any state or any county that they have a problem with, they're gonna come from. No, because you did what you did. It's been now proven that there's been stuff wrong going on in your county. So I'm not understanding. I've been confused with this, especially during this administration. I'm confused at why people think that people who do wrong shouldn't get in trouble for it.
Right. And another. Oh, go ahead. I thought you were finished.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Another in that interview as well, what he said was he knew it was more serious than them getting the ballots when Tulsi Gabbard got involved, because that is another thing that came out with in Georgia. The machines are not supposed to, by law, be hooked up to the internet, and those machines were. They had routers there, internet flowing through them. So that is why Tulsi Gabbard is involved, because it's national security now. So there's also the reason why they were able to finally get those ballots is because they had to go to a judge in a different state, because it looks like all of Georgia is corrupt. It looks like all of it.
It's the land of, well, I know Atlanta is. I ain't gonna say the whole Georgia, but Atlanta is the city of the scammers. So it just would only make sense that everybody even in the politics and the government scamming too.
So they went to a judge in Missouri and presented evidence to that judge, who then said, "Oh yeah, this is enough. Go get them. Go get the ballots. This is enough evidence. Go get them." After all of these years of being, blocked and nothing here. It's a big lie. Safe and secure. Joe Biden won.
That's why when they try to fight, it'd be like a double-edged sword. You know how they'll say, well, how is this judge all the way in this city, like giving a ruling for somewhere else and this and that. And then when you don't like it, you don't like it. But then like look at this instance. It's like, do you want to take that option away? When reality is in some states it could be just totally corrupt, one-sided type of judges. Or do you want to be able to allow them to still have the ability to do things across state lines? What you think?
Well, we wouldn't have to have done that if they had just done what was asked and let us see, right? Let us see.
Right. I'm just
Because
saying, what
that's
if
why
that
we
power
keep
was
voting
taken
records.
away?
Is that not why we have retention? Is that not why we have retention laws? To hold on to those ballots and stuff so we can go back and look at something if it's that's why we have the and you know what? Let me tell you.
What you
You
got,
know
T?
how you say how you know that God is on Trump's side, right?
Uh-huh.
The
I do.
only reason why those ballots are still there is because of the case that Fonnie Willis brought. Because they only supposed to hold on to him for 22 months.
That's funny.
But because she brought that case and that case was just wrapped up, they had to hold on to all them ballots because of that court case.
That's what she did. I feel like it's funny because
So
she must have did so wrong. Everything be coming back to I mean literally everything comes back to bite that woman.
yeah.
Every,
Yes, because she fighting for her life here in Georgia. But haven't I been saying from the beginning she was the gatekeeper, and now finding out that the judge was too.
But you know what's really more
This is
crazy?
this crazy.
What's really more crazy with that is, it's a shame because of course being black, you don't be wanting to say, we putting down too much on your people, especially the women. But you got to be honest. And I truly, hate that. Unfortunately, every time generally it's the same type of attitude. It's the same type of, woman acting like you're just untouchable and can't nobody say nothing to you and and it's like when they start getting cocky like that, sadly it's always some come down with some kind of scamming or fraud or stealing or something. It's like, man, can y'all be a better example?
Yep, but for them, you can see. Oh, they did something where they were doing some kind of election worker appreciation. Fonnie was there, and the commissioners was there. They trying to show their people who work their polls that they appreciate them because they don't want them to flip and tail. Because the people who gonna get who probably is gonna get questioned first is the ones who worked up at the polls. And that's another thing that I wanted to tell people. I don't know if y'all knew this, but Representative Hageman, she did an interview, and I want to say it was the interview with Sean Ryan, where she has said that I'm going to summarize it because it's been a while since I saw it, but I'm sure you can find it, and I'm going to find it. We can show it another time so you can see it for yourself. But and I bet you a lot of people don't know this, that the Democrats had a consent decree that they kept getting signed by a judge that made it to where Republicans could not be poll watchers. And they had been going to the same judge and re-upping this consent decree all the way until the 2020 election, because that judge died. Again, God shining down, right?
Not that the man
The
died.
judge died, and they had to go to another judge, and the new judge said, absolutely not. This is unconstitutional. So 2020 was the first election since the 80s, I believe she said, that Republicans were allowed to have poll watchers. And now you see why they treated them the way that they did when they were kicking them out. They wouldn't let them get close to the ballots and they had to stand all the way back. And you can go and see all of the stuff that they were doing with the poll watchers and the complaints, and they were getting them kicked out of the places, and it was wild. and the stuff that they were saying, like they couldn't even see the ballots because they had them standing like probably 100, 200 feet away from the tables where people
I
were
saw
counting
that.
because of COVID. They were saying, back up, back up.
Yeah, I actually saw that because I think that's when I kind of started paying attention. That's when started paying attention. I was like, that is super weird. Like, why? I didn't even understand. I didn't even know that. I
Hmm.
guess that they couldn't, be there. I would think. I mean, it should be somebody from each side. I know they make people get back. Like they can't campaign around the polls for either side, but not letting them be there to watch and make sure ain't no cheating happening. I don't understand that. You there, Stack? All right, guys. Looks like
Church
my.
and stuff kind of knew
Oh,
that.
you
You
froze.
muted, Mo.
Oh, no, I'm not. You're
I
frozen.
can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you were frozen. Your internet had froze for a minute, so that's probably why. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
So I wanted to go. Oh,
this is going to be, and you know who going to be in Fulton County?
who?
Ruby Freeman.
Who is that?
Not next there, but I'm talking about next on my list of exposure. I'm gonna go and gather all the stuff that I know
Hmm.
that she did, because I know where to get it from. I told you, I talked to you earlier and told you.
Right.
I'm gonna go gather that up, and that will be the next episode of
Okay.
what they did. And they gave that woman a Presidential Medal of Freedom and said she gonna go down in voting rights history.
Well, I can't wait to
Hmm.
hear. Well, look. We're gonna go ahead and go. I know we had this is actually in our thumbnail, and the Grammys happened, so it's time to talk trending topics. The Grammys happened. There was a lot going on with the Grammys. Then we had, because of the Grammys and the situation at was it Davos? Where was it? Oh, the Trump accounts thing where Nicki Minaj was there, and she Trump brought her up on stage, and so everybody was feeling some kind of way. Of course, some people were happy about it, some people weren't. And as we can see with all of Nikki's X, I don't know how you call them because they ain't tweets because it ain't Twitter no more. With all her X posts, Nikki
Hmm.
don't care. She want all the smoke. She is telling people, look, you can like it or you cannot. Either way, I'm gonna stay doing what I'm doing because for whatever reason she like us, because we I know
Hmm.
me. I get backlash. I've gotten backlash, from for about being honest about how I feel about certain things. And it's really sad that that does happen because I think if we all had the same brains, what a boring world this would be. But hey,
Hmm.
so I wanted to, she had a interview everybody's been anticipated. It's with Katie Miller, and they talked about just what's going on, how she feels. So I'm gonna just play a little snippet from it on the part where she's talking about what got her into politics and how does she feel regarding people bullying Trump. So you guys can check it out, tell us what you think. Make sure if you guys are new, if you haven't been in the whole time while you're watching, please heart on the screen. It shows it there, and then give a thumbs up and continue to share. Let's go, let's see.
Issue specifically like drew you in the most? Is it immigration? Is it the economic policy? Is it religious freedoms? What specifically, answers that calling that you talked about?
Definitely, religious freedom is something that's very important to me. But if I'm being honest, President Trump. Yes. Because when I saw how he was being treated over and over and over, I just couldn't handle it. Because I felt that same, a lot of that bullying and the smear campaigns and all of the lying, I felt that had been done to me for so many years. And I was watching it in real time happen to someone else. And I didn't think he deserved it. And it made me think, I can't do this anymore.
Have you ever spoken with President Trump?
I have. During the last campaign, I spoke to him briefly. I forgot exactly what they said when they called. Oh gosh, I forgot. But I remember saying I wanted to ask him some questions, and he got on the phone. He was very easy to talk to, and polite and all of that. And I asked him a few questions, because I said, with me, everything I do, I have to take an account for my fan base. And so I had recently been seeing a couple things circling online, and I just wanted to confirm with him directly. And I said, do you have a problem with the LGBT community? And I asked him if he had a problem with the Jewish community. And I asked him about women's rights. And he gave me wonderful answers to all of them, to where I knew that he respected me and he respected my fan base. And it was very, very thoughtful questions and just honest. And that's the thing with him. He just is an authentic human being. It didn't feel like he was making up an answer or trying to, make something that was going to sound good. It sounded like he really answered the question as if he and I were best friends, from 25 years ago. It made me feel comfortable. But at that time, I didn't come out and endorse him. I wish I did, though.
You and President Trump both like to give people nicknames.
Yeah.
President Trump refers to Gavin Newsom as Gavin Newscum. So do you.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, did you come up with it first? Did President Trump come up with it first?
Thank you for asking, because a lot of the Barbs thought that I made it up. So I have to make sure this is clear. Barbs, the president made that up. I stole that nickname from him because people, like my fans know I'm a nickname person. I give everyone a nickname, especially if I don't like them. But then no, actually, and the people I love a lot, I do give them nicknames too. But that's why Trump is so funny, because he reminds me a lot about a lot of myself in a lot of ways. So no, he called Gavin Newscum, and I thought it was hilarious. But it was a long time ago when he made that up, and he's that's been his thing for a long time. And so when I was about to acknowledge.
All right, hold on, let me unmute myself. All right. So what do you think?
Some of the.
She seems very genuine. She's very genuine. I'm not a Nicki Minaj fan. I don't know her music or anything, but I do appreciate her honesty and her. It doesn't seem to me that she is afraid to speak her mind, and I respect that.
Well, with that being said, I just want to go right to this part just to see what you think.
You called for Don Lemon's arrest over his church stunt in Minneapolis. He's since called you racist, unhinged, homophobic, and out of your depth. Anything you'd like to say to Don Lemon?
Cocksucker, stop.
When you're going through something like that very publicly on the internet,
yes,
and everyone is talking about you, how do you handle situations like that? Do you just not pay attention? Do you love it? Do you want to crawl back into a hole?
I've never been happier, child. I'm truly, I've never been happier. So I hope that answers your question.
All right. All right. Well, Nikki said it. Don Lemon. I think she feels about Don Lemon kind of like how you feel, huh? Say.
Yeah, I don't like Don Lemon yet. Donna Lamoni.
Somebody.
So I think that he is. I think Don Lemon is.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me see. Somebody wants to come in. I don't know who it is. Let's see if we're going to keep them in here. We're going to have to throw them out. Hold on. I said, see, we're going to keep them
Do
in
we
here.
know this person?
I can't see their name.
So
Yeah. So I'll add them to the. Who who is that?
Hello,
Let's.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. What's your name?
My name is Cedric.
Cedric. Welcome up. Why did you call in to join us?
Well, we'll see how this goes, but I was interested in the conversation.
Okay.
You know,
he has an
it
echo.
seems like there was a little bit of a disclaimer about whether or not I'll be allowed to join.
Oh no, there is no. She said she has you have a disclaimer. I mean, have a echo. So let me see. Hold
I
on.
think that um, when it comes to the Nicki Minaj situation of it all, I think that Nicki Minaj sounds much like Donald Trump, and she's been sounding like Donald Trump for a very long time now. I think she's been a Trump supporter. I don't think this is anything new for her. When I say she sounds like Donald Trump, when I think about all of the binges she go on Twitter and the rants that she go on, where did we see that before? Like who did we see that with before? And it was with Donald J. Trump. As a matter of fact, during his first administration, most of his cabinet was terrified every day they woke up that they would lose their job from a tweet. and so, and I noticed just like Trump, when Nikki goes on these rants, it's never about anything that the conversation started with, but it always goes back to like whatever situation or circumstance or person she wants to highlight, which is usually Jay-Z, Rock Nation, Beyonce, and Desiree Perez. And just like Donald Trump, whenever he's in a debate about um, the march in Washington, if you let him speak for 30 seconds, he's on his wormhole about the Democratic cabal and how Democrats are doing evil things and this and that and the third. I'm saying all of that to say when these crazy conspiracy theories started to hit the airways of the United States of America, like when we first started being normalized to this was, if you all remember, this was ushered in like with an era. And I'm gonna refresh in your memory as to like what that era was, and it was Donald Trump's first presidency, and it was QAnon. When we first started hearing about just news reporters on CNN and just on national television repeating like crazy conspiracy theories that before we would not really hear people talk about and really give credulity to, this all came into play with the ushering of the Donald Trump administration.
Okay.
So when I think about Nicki Minaj and the way that she's imitating like that, and to be honest with you, that's pretty much the voice of the Republican Party now. It is that crowd. Most Republicans that have been genuine, lifelong Republicans, they're embarrassed by those people, and they're your silent Republicans now.
Oh, okay.
And so,
See. Give us a chance to get in, brother. Hold on. I'm sure my
oh,
co-host would
I'm sorry.
love to have something to say. You can unmute yourself, Stag. Well, I'm gonna say this for sure. They probably have a lot in common because they're both New Yorkers, I and I feel all of us have our moments where we rant. So I don't. I mean, I know I do. I don't say everybody. I know I do. So I will say I'm not gonna say that that's just simple for just for them because I think we probably all do. But go ahead, Stag. Would you like to say something to C regards to his comments?
I think that I think that you need to stop watching so much of the media. Um, because they're the ones who told you that all those things were conspiracy theories, yet they offered you no evidence of that. So any of those things, they can probably be proven. It's just that the media doesn't talk about things. Because if you haven't noticed, the media carries the water of the Democrat Party. And yeah, the Democrats have done some evil things. And those Republicans that you said were afraid that they were going to lose their jobs, they were swamp monkeys. They were the people who were in our government, in our bureaucracy, who were responsible for a lot of the things that went on. And they intentionally tried to derail his presidency because they didn't want to clean up that swamp. Because a lot of them made money in that swamp. They live good because of that swamp, and they don't want it drained. So they did everything that they could to make sure that his agenda did not go forward, and that you thought that he was the problem, though he had just gotten there. And all of the people that you people listen to have been there for decades, writing legislation, writing laws, taking us to war, but you blame them for nothing. And a man show up, ain't never been in DC, ain't wrote a law, ain't wrote a policy, wasn't in a meeting or nothing, and he get all the heat for everything that's wrong with the country. And I think that's kind of weird. And those Republicans that you said are embarrassed by him, they're not embarrassed. They're shameful. That's what they are.
They're
They are
afraid.
not real Republicans. They're not real Republicans. That's why they get out there and they talk badly about the party because and they say that they're not that Donald Trump is taking over the party. Donald Trump didn't take over the party. We the American people took over the party. We took back the party. They don't like it. And if you really pay attention, you will see that Donald Trump listens to the people. He listens to the people and he makes decisions based on what we want a lot of the time. He tries to do what he knows is best for the country and Americans, but he does value what we want. That's what they don't like because they don't care what we like. They never have. They just wanted you for your vote. And then once they get there, they do what they want, and the people who put money in their pockets want. But now we have someone in DC who cares about what we, the people, want. And he's whipping up that Republican Party to make sure that they put forth policy that we, the American people, want. And you think that they're doing Donald Trump's bidding, but they're doing our bidding because he listens to us. He goes with what we say we want, and he makes sure that they follow through. So I would suggest that you maybe take a closer look at policy and how it really has affected the country. And those people that you think are good politicians, and because they speak nicely and the media gives them a good platform to get on, um, I think maybe you should give them a second look.
Well, I did listen
That's it.
to I listened to all three of your suggestions at giving them looks, not listening to the media, and paying attention to what the people want. I'm one that don't consume media as fact. My great aunt is Condoleezza Rice. So I read for a living. Politics is my thing. That's my space. Not just politics, but government and US history. So at the end of the day, I think that when I look at the policies of the Republican Party and I look at the policies that the Democratic Party proposed in the prior election, there was no Republican agenda that was good for the African American community. So when I look at the leader of the Republican Party, Donald Trump,
Are you
that you say
American,
that
sir? Excuse
people
me. Are
give
you
him such a
American?
hard time,
Are
and
you
people
American?
overly criticize him. I noticed that for a
See,
president.
can you hear her? She asked, "Are you American?"
Oh, I'm sorry, I was speaking.
That's okay. No, she.
I was speaking. I was gonna. I
Oh,
guess
oh,
I'll
okay.
give
I
you.
got you. I
I'll
got you.
answer that when I'm done speaking.
Yeah, he wanted to get it all out, Sag, before. Okay, okay. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, I was paused to give
I'll be
somebody else
nice.
space to speak. So, but I will tell you this, whenever I begin to speak and I get, this Republican Democrat lingo, that cues me off already to you're the individual that listens to the media too much because you see and reflect upon your own nation through the lens of a dual party system instead of one nation under God. And this spirit of division that Donald Trump and this Republican regime ushered into the United States Congress and into the United States people, it has not only divided the government, but it has also divided the people of the United States. I recall Donald Trump being the president when he took office that referred to all five brown and black members of Congress that were all black women. I recall him saying that none of them deserved their jobs and none of them were educated enough to be there. And so for me, I also recall that same Republican president literally stating that those black men that were falsely accused of murder should receive the death penalty anyway. So for
Give me one
me,
second. See, I didn't mean to cut you off, but she was trying to give me a message. I want to make sure I get it. What was that? What did you say, Stag?
Oh, it wasn't a message for you.
I'm
It
gonna
was
tell
a
you,
message for him. Listen, for him.
I think it's more important what she has to say. So I'm just gonna let you women continue this conversation amongst yourselves.
Okay. Well, thank you
Thank
for
you for your
coming
time.
up. Have a great day.
Yeah. You started it talking about the parties because we was talking about Nicki Minaj, I thought, when you came
Right.
up here.
I was
And
about
you
to
went into
say.
talking about Republicans and Donald Trump and all of that, and then you want to play the victim when I tell you about yourself. And when you say he didn't have nothing for the African American, are you an American, sir? Because if you're an American, that whole agenda was for you.
For you.
Okay?
Exactly.
And what I recall, I don't think that the Democrats had nothing for your African American ass. And if they did, they were
Oh,
keeping it a secret.
look, hold on. Cause see, I don't even know what you was gonna talk about in the I just can't moment, but it's time for it to be rolling on, and I would love to see what it's gonna turn into now. Cause see, they
That's
came
what
up
it was.
here.
I had something else, but I will tell you that you getting up here talking about this division and all of this, and that's
Hold
what you
on.
was talking about. And you talking about what he had for African Americans. What did Kamala have for you? What has Democrats ever had for you? And I guess that you're not familiar with his platinum plan. And if you knew about the platinum plan, go look it up if you hadn't heard about it. And then you match that with the policies that's in the big, beautiful bill, and you will see that those policies will benefit you, black man who is also American, because that agenda 47, that whole agenda is for Americans. So if you're an American, any policy that benefit Americans benefit you. It ain't got nothing to do with your color. Nobody got to offer you nothing because you black. We already went through that with civil rights. What did it get you? That's what I don't understand. You're going to put everything on one man who was only there for 4 years, but still talk to people who were there. Joe Biden, I bet you voted for Jim Crow Joe. And he say some of the most racist things, and he has done nothing for you except gaslight you. Told you he did things, but he only used you in your black face to promote a policy that he then turned around and let other people who just got here benefit from and gave you crumbs. You say you don't watch the media, but yeah, it sounds like you really do. A lot of y'all say you don't. You really don't even have to watch the media. If you watch any daytime talk show, nighttime talk show, any other TV shows, any other movies, the award shows, what else did it? Radio, anywhere in the sphere, it's all one narrative. Because what was it that you said, Mo, that you found it interesting that the Grammys, there was absolutely no one up there with an alternative point of view? Not one person, and you don't find that strange? And I'm going to tell you, any of you who sit there and believe anything that these politicians tell you, especially after the history that we've had with them, you are just as ignorant as they think you are. which is why they tell you the things they do, which is why they're so corrupt, which is why those black communities and black people that you talk don't have nothing that they've gotten since civil rights. Their communities have done nothing but deteriorate since then. But you are mad at the man who trying to give you your freedom and control and agency of yourself. Because I please tell me what was Democrats offering you in 2024 over removing people who don't belong here so that there can be jobs that open up for black people. I think this mass deportation is for black people, right? Because where were they all put? In black neighborhoods, taking up black housing, black jobs, overcrowding black schools. But you don't see that. People have to tell y'all stuff like word for word. They got to tell you. You can't just look at what he's doing and figure out how it benefits you. He got to say it's exactly for you to believe it. You can't just look at what he's doing and say, oh yeah, that could be a good thing for me. No. And that is why y'all continue to get led by the nose by the Democrat Party. And I just can't.
Now, ironically, now I want to make sure because I don't want anybody to know because we likes all the smoke. Okay, we are okay with the smoke. We just only we only accept the smoke during a certain part of our show. And we are now in the last two segments of our show. So unfortunately, we don't allow people up because they just rolls freely based on what our two segments are about. So if you were calling in, you were not accepted just because you called in at the last two segments of the show. But guess what? If you're on TikTok, both of our TikTok names are on the bottom of the screen, and we generally do an after show where you can come up and speak, and it's a little bit more freer there, and we will do that right after we finish our show, which is going to end. We're coming up next with my segment, which is, but again, I don't want anybody to think that we don't want the smoke because we loves it, okay? We call Proud Mary for a reason because we give it to you nice when we can, yet rough when we must. So don't think that we're not ready, but we also love to just have good conversation. Of course, you can have differences of opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as it's given, if it's given respectfully. And Cedric said, I don't think you like facts. Cedric, I will let you know that my name is the Let's Be Honest Show for a reason. Because we give nothing but facts. That's what I'm telling you, Cedric. I don't know if you're on TikTok, but definitely head on over there or follow us right now. You're gonna see this. Maybe you need this money minute tip that I'm about to give because I am, as people may not know, but I am a 30+ year accountant and financial coach, and it is my job to help people budget, which is why I am now ready to give my Mo's Money Minute. All right, everybody. So we like to talk about things. I'm going to give this to you in less than a minute or no more than a minute. We're going to talk about something that is hurting everybody's wallets right now, which is why we're trying to work on it within this government. It's the high interest rates and debt fatigue, okay? If you are carrying credit card debt, hear me clearly. Minimum payments are a trap. They like this. They are handcuffs to you. At today's rate, you can pay for years and barely touch the balance. So that's not bad luck. That's going to be bad math for y'all. And bad math don't add up. 1 + 2 don't equal 2. Okay? 1 + 2 = 3, y'all. So here's what you need to do this week. 1, stop using your card. You're paying down, and stop using your card and start paying down. You need to start paying down. Don't swipe it. Don't do this and that. Pay every month. That's going to be activity, okay? Call the user and ask for a temporary rate reduction. Now, you can call the credit card company and ask them that. They'll have something called a hardship program. Ask them for a temporary rate reduction. What happens when you do that, when you start paying and you're not charging, it'll help you pay down the balance faster. 3, throw every extra dollar into your high interest balance credit cards. Don't pay it nowhere else. Don't go extra. Don't call DoorDash. Don't do any other things that are going to be spending money that you could have helping to pay something off. And if you're thinking about taking on new debt right now, don't do it. I know everybody has their income tax check coming. Thank God the one big beautiful bill is passed, and everybody's getting extra money. Even if you have no children, you're still seeing something higher, so you can take that money and use that to pay down your debt if you have credit card debt, okay? If it's not increasing your income or reducing your expenses, it's probably slowing you down. The economy is tight, but smart money moves still win. So this has been Mo's Money Minute, and I don't want to boss you around, but I want to make sure that I help you manage you. See y'all. All right. Did I get it in a minute?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Good job. Good job.
Well, everybody.
I just didn't like how rude he was.
Yeah, he was ready to be rude. It's
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's sass.
Oh, yeah. You see, I already put that. We could take that down. Yeah.
And trying to name drop. Condoleezza Rice Macarena. What you doing over
here? Right.
You should know better.
And not only that, I mean, we can't verify that. I can say, who I want to be my great uncle. Ain't nobody right now that I feel I would want to brag on. So, because first of all, it don't matter who you related to. That don't change who you are. I'm just keeping it real. You are who you are. But again, Cedric, if you hear C, I think that was your name, C, go ahead and follow us. We are gonna head on over to our TikTok and do an after show. So I think this we are what, four months in now? I think we are doing absolutely amazing. Thanks to Wendell, thanks to all of our regular subscribers who are here and who watch us, and even we thank y'all who got a problem, don't like what we saying. We appreciate the engagement. We appreciate the time. We know you never know who you can learn from, but it ain't how you say it. I mean, it ain't what you say, it's how you say it. So that's why we try to give it to you nice. But when we gotta do rough, we gonna do rough, which is why we call our podcast Proud Mary. So until next Wednesday, guys, y'all know we on every Wednesday between 6 and 6:30, unless we announce and tell you. We are live every Wednesday, but throughout the week, we provide, clips of the show. We give shorts from the show. So make sure that you're coming, you're sharing with your friends. We're still trying to we like the little engine that could. We're still trying to get these subscribers up. And we know the only way to do that is through consistency from us and our supporters. So again, thank y'all. Stag, what you got to say before we go?
Thank you all for coming. I had a different I can't moment, but
maybe we'll start off the TikTok like that.
But make sure that y'all also follow the Proud Mary podcast on TikTok.
Yes.
Where we have shorts there.
And
we'll see y'all over there on TikTok, I guess.
Yes, we'll see y'all later. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, y'all have a blessed rest of your week.